Hi everybody, this is a video describing and talking about the three different forms that we often see the quadratic formula in. Graphing form, standard form, and factored form. So we're going to take a look at each one of these, why they're useful, and how to go from one form to the other. Okay, we are going to start with graphing form first. Graphing form is y equals a times x minus h squared plus k. This is called graphing form because it gives us our vertex. Our vertex is at hk. Just do be careful with the sign here. The next form that we are going to talk about is standard form. Standard form looks something like that. ax squared plus bx plus c equals 0. And this is really good because it gives us the y-intercept very easily. How do we get the y-intercept? Well, the y-intercept happens whenever the x value is equal to 0, right? So it easily gives us the y-intercept, which is c. The last form is factored form, where we have x minus p times x minus q, right? And why is this good? This gives us our x-intercepts, right? How do we know what our x-intercepts are? Well, we're going to use something called the zero product property that says in order for this thing to be equal to 0, either this has to be 0 or this has to be 0, right? So our x-intercepts will be found by taking each one of these and setting it equal to 0. Now that we have a good understanding of what each form is useful for, we're going to talk about how to go from one form to the next. So let's start with something in graphing form, which is going to be y equals x minus 3 squared minus 4, right? And that's in graphing form. How do we turn that into standard form? Well, in order to turn that into standard form, we're just going to multiply that out. What does that look like? Well, we're going to take this thing times itself twice, and then simplify this out. Using an area model, I get x squared minus 6x plus 9 minus 4. And when I simplify that one more time, I get x squared minus 6x plus 5. And there we go. Now we have something that is very nice in standard form, right? Standard form. So looking at this, we should be easily able to identify our y-intercept. Y-intercept happens at 5. Now that we have something in standard form, how do you put that into factored form? We have to figure out what two factors multiplied together make this. Remember, to do this, we use a box diamond method. We're going to create our box, x squared term here. Constant goes there. We multiply those. Those go in the top of the diamond. And then we take our coefficient in front of the x and put it at the bottom. Now I need to figure out what factors of 5 add up to negative 6. What factors of positive 5 add up to negative 6? Well, that's going to be negative 5x and negative 1x. And then I can fill these in here. Now that I've got my box filled in, I can go ahead and find the factors along the sides. Then I can see that my factors are x minus 1 times x minus 5. And there we go. We've got something in factored form, right? Using this, we should be able to come up with our x-intercepts. X-intercepts happen at x minus 1 equals 0 or at x minus 5 is equal to 0. So there we go. Those are our x-intercepts. Remember, that happens when the y value is equal to 0. So to go from graphing form, we just simply multiply to get to standard form. If you're in standard form, we simply factor or use the box diamond to get to our factored form. Well, let's keep going. Let's see, how do we get from factored form if we wanted to go to standard form, right? So this is what I want you to do. Turn our paper and rotate it, because now we're going to start with something that's in factored form. Figure out what's it going to take to get it back into standard form. So here you can see I've got something in factored form. I am actually going to multiply using an area model, right? Since these are just two factors, I'm going to multiply them, and when I simplify, my answer is now in standard form. Now, to go from standard form into graphing form, what do you have to do? To get this into graphing form, you need to complete the square. Here's a quick reminder on how to complete the square. When we look at this, we want to, the very first thing is move our constant to the other side. All right? So we call it completing the square because you can think of this as algebra tiles, where we set it up x squared, and then we take whatever this is and split it in half, negative 3x there, negative 3x there. And then we need to figure out, what do I have to add to complete the square, right? And what I have to add is negative 3 times negative 3. And since I'm adding it to this side of the equation, I have to also add it to this side of the equation, right? This is helpful because it helps us to figure out what number we need to add to both sides, but it also is useful to help us figure out what our factor is over here too. So this distance here is x minus 3. So our area here is going to be x minus 3 squared is equal to 4. Right? And then I could take that term and move it back over to the other side of the equation, and I would come up with x minus 3 squared minus 4. And there we have it. We've got it back into graphing form. And remember, the useful thing about graphing form is that it helps us find the vertex. Now that we have it in this form, we can say, you know what, minus 3, that goes to the right 3, minus 4, that means it's going down 4. So we're going to go to the right 3 and then down 4, starting at the origin. So our vertex is going to be at 3, negative 4. So there you have it, our 3 different forms of the quadratic formula, what they're useful for, and how to go from one to the other.